So this is Jeff Norman, and we're going to get the Vortex channel going again today. Michael Bierson, who is one of the co-founders of the Strindberg Laboratory, is my guest today. And these nice people rehearse at the Vortex every week and have been for a couple of years, I guess it's been now.
Yeah.
The Strindberg Laboratory provides professional theater workshops and plays for disadvantaged populations. They go into correctional facilities and underserved communities throughout California. They were featured in a major article last month in People magazine. And I'm not talking about one of these little mentions. This was a real big deal, and I want to talk to Michael about that. And they have a couple of things coming up. Let me just see. March 16th, 17th, and 18th, they're doing a play at the California State Prison in Lancaster, and on March 13th at the Electric Lodge in Venice. And you can get details at strindberglaboratory.com. That's STRINDBERG laboratory.com. Michael, good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
I am suffering from a wide variety of emotional problems, and I hope
aren't we all?
Yes, that's right. And rather than go to traditional therapy, I want to do it in alternative arts therapy.
Perfect. Yeah.
So what you guys do, I think, is really a great thing. And, it's sort of like, I know a lot of people don't want to go into therapy. And, so what you do is therapeutic without making it all that obvious. It's also creative. And I guess some of the folks you work with are pursuing it as a career as well. So can you just explain a little bit about what the mission of the Strindberg Laboratory is?
Yeah, I mean, our mission is to bring hope and a voice to people that normally aren't heard, that don't get to share their voice. So a lot of the times, people, especially in underserved populations, they don't get to express themselves and they don't get to find out what they want and who they are. So any artist, that's the number one kind of job, is to find out and to strengthen your voice. So basically that's what we do. We essentially are providing services that any artist would get in any theater company. It's just that the people that we work with happen to be ex-cons, happen to be people that are poor, which, unfortunately, in society, it's not being representative in the artistic community that well, especially in LA County.
Right. And the reason I think it's great is in addition to it being, giving people a sense of humanity, it's also very good for our society, because even these people who are, have a tough on crime sort of disposition, they don't always realize that even if they want to have this kind of revengeful attitude towards prisoners, they eventually come out and walk among us. Right. So we don't want them to be, animals. We want them to get back in touch with their humanity. Yeah, and so you not only make them civilized, so to speak, but you actually train them and put them to work too, right?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, they're like, you brought up some really great stuff. So there's basically a movement, not a movement, there's policy that's happening right now where basically everyone's being released from the prisons. So there's, because of the fact that there aren't jobs and because of the fact there really isn't services, especially in Los Angeles County. Mm-hmm. Los Angeles County is the highest prison and homeless population in the country. Yet that the services in Southern California are much more lacking than in Northern California. So the big question society has asked themselves is what's going to happen when all these people are released from prison? Well, you can take a look at what's happening right now with people who are released from prison. They're going right back. So there's a crisis that's underway. So what are we going to do as a society to basically fix it? Well, the Strindberg Laboratory basically provides jobs. It provides opportunities to basically, hopefully, to have them not come back. So we have a program called Jails to Jobs. So basically, we take people from our correction that we work with on the inside, and when they get out upon release, they're given, they're continued to work with the stuff that we teach them on the inside with the theater program, and they participate in outside community centers throughout LA County, and are able to get paid a little bit of money and continue their artistic endeavors. I'll just put on top. I thought I put on the side. The other thing that that we're starting to provide is our partnership with LA City College and also our partnership with the Los Angeles Mission. So one of the things that we've discovered is this isn't theater isn't the only tool that's necessary to keep these people from not keep the ex-con community from not going back to prison or jail. What's needed is a whole kind of gamut of things. One of those things are education. The other thing is housing. Two things that are enormously lacking in for this population, also in Los Angeles County as a whole. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to partner with them. So what we have is we have a way that they can get a job, a way that they can continue their education that's not burdened on cost, right? And then also have a place where they can have a place to live. And with those three facets, what we're hoping is to create a really vigorous, comprehensive program that gives everybody an opportunity to not go back.
Right. So let me just get into a little bit of specifically how you operate, because it seems to me you have sort of a core MO, but that it can be revised a little bit depending on the circumstances, depending who your partners are, depending on which segment of the population you're serving. So, for example, you just did, I think it was called Redemption in Our State of Blues. And my understanding is you actually created the play with the prisoners and then performed it. Is that kind of typical of how it goes, or atypical?
Yeah. So we do different styles. I mean, we're a theater company, so we do different plays. A lot of times, especially with beginning actors, right? When you walk in, they have no idea about theater and etc. The easiest thing for them to do is stories about their own lives because they can relate to it, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So that particular play was in the B yard, which is level 4. Level 4 is right below level 5. Level 5 is basically solitary, and it's death row. So level 4 is pretty much the very high level security. They didn't have programming for a long time there. That was when we're just really getting out of the overcrowding era with overcrowding and basically not many programs happening. So it was one of the first programs that got brought into that specific yard, and we were able to create this amazing show called Redemption in Our State of Blues that was about the stories of their lives and them seeking redemption. A lot of these guys are lifers. A lot of these guys have long sentences. So redemption is a very prevalent theme in that setting. The show was really well received. We had the Assemblyman Tom Lackey there. We had Sharon Runner's office there. We had People Magazine cover it. Right. And we had a couple other elected representatives there. And we're redoing the show because we have about 100 hours left on our contract with the California Arts Council, and we should have some more press like ABC and PBS and LA Times there this time. So it's yeah.
All right, so you don't only work with prisoners.
No.
And the term that you tend to use, and is a very common term in the nonprofit world, is disadvantaged populations. And sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to say it in a way that isn't insulting or condescending to the population you're serving. But I can't think of a better way of putting it. So the nonprofit that I run is called Homefront Rising, and we help veterans, for the most part, develop housing, food, and career solutions. And we've been working together for a couple of years now at the Vortex, which is in downtown Los Angeles. And hats off, by the way, to Cameron Melville and Jeff Parker, the co-owners who have made the venue available to you guys.
Right.
And now we're talking about establishing something in Long Beach where we're going to do a theater group with veterans.
Right.
So I want to just tell you about this, and you don't even know this yet, but there's another nonprofit called Rock to Recovery that I've been working with, also at the Vortex. And they do something very similar to what you do, except with music. And their thing is they come in and they spend usually 90 minutes with a group. And again, it's whatever you might consider to be a disadvantaged population, so to speak. And in that 90 minutes, they write a song with the group, just like you guys create a play, but they do it in a very compressed period of time. They write the song and they record it. And at the end of the session, they have the recording, they upload it to the internet. And yeah, and so they told me, these guys don't even need any talent, no musical experience required. And I'm sort of half believing them. And then they invited me to sit in on a session, and I know I don't have any musical talent.
Right.
And they put me down at a keyboard and wrote 1, 2, 3, 4 on the keyboards and said, just go in that order and try to stay in rhythm. And, so I actually experienced it. And so now I can testify that, that it is for real. So my question for you is, does that kind of resonate for you as what the experience is like? And does it take a special kind of patience on the part of you and your wife, Mary, to work with people who don't really have that talent, or you actually sort of enjoy it? You know what I'm getting at?
Well, the thing with theater, the thing with artists and actors, everybody's an actor. There's not, some are more versatile and talented, obviously, but everybody's an actor. We're all acting different parts. The reason why we're doing this is because actually the theater that we produce, we feel is a very high-level theater. It's not actually amateur. It's highly professional. It's some of the best theater we think that's happening in LA if we have a successful play. So it's actually the opposite. We're not philanthropists. We're not do-gooders. The reason why we do it is because creatively we produce really awesome plays. And that's what we're interested in, to be quite honest. Everything else that we do is because we happen to have people that we work with that have a lot of high needs that doesn't really, isn't enough to provide theater, because we won't keep them, because they just don't have it. So don't have those things that they need. As far as different populations.
So let's apply what you just said to our outreach to veterans.
Yes, that's what I was just going to do.
Okay, so in other words, do they need to have a specific degree of talent or anything in particular, or just being a veteran who wants to do it?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. I mean, we don't work just necessarily with prisoners. We, like you were going to mention, we work with an autistic group with a show coming up on March 13th. So, we work with varied people, varied backgrounds. That's the amazing thing about theater, is that you can take people who are veterans, you can take people that are artistic, you can take people that are ex-cons and put them together in a room and create an amazing play. So is there a criteria for who we're looking for? No. The one thing is that we just want people that are willing. If you're willing, we're willing to basically do a play. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody. And if you really listen, and if it really is expressed, in an artistic way, then that thing can be just as interesting as a person who's a billionaire, on top of a mountain. You know what I mean? It's really, everybody's got a story, and that's what we're interested in. So no, there is no criteria. As long as they're willing, then it'll be, we know what we're doing. It'll be good.
Okay, and then other than driving people to your website, which again is strindberglaboratory.com, is there anything you want to say about these two shows coming up on March 13th and the other on the 16th, 17th, and 18th?
Yes. Yeah, going back to what you're saying about, about different populations, the thing about theater is it can really unite communities together. We're taking a group in Westwood, which is upper middle class, autistic young adults, and we're pairing them with people who are predominantly from Skid Row and who are ex-cons, and they're creating this play together that will be something that, you'll have soccer moms sitting with, ex-con people and, sheriffs sitting with ex-cons. So you're going to have a melting pot of communities, different races, different backgrounds. And it really speaks to the power of theater. The show in Redemption, again, you have people coming to see them, these guys who basically we locked up, society locked up and threw away the key. And now they're coming to see them, and they're going to learn something and hopefully be entertained. And again, that speaks to the power of theater. So with the the people, the veterans, that we hope to work with, with you. The veterans, it's another community that unexpected things can happen, if we do a show. Things that, maybe any other way, program or whatever couldn't be possible, but theater makes it possible. So what I'm excited to see is what happens, with this community, if we start working, when we start working with them, and, what can happen.
Okay. And as far as the type of space, now you've been with us at the Vortex. I keep saying a couple of years, but I'm way off on time. It might be 10 years. It might be 3 months.
Yeah.
You know how long it's been? A couple of years? Is that?
I think it has been actually 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, and can you say a few words about the venue and how that works out for you, and, and generally what
I
you
mean,
need?
without the Vortex, we wouldn't be where we are now, that's for sure. The rehearsal space, the proximity to downtown where most of our guides are, the accommodation that Vortex have shown, really, our program wouldn't be where we're at now, certainly without it. So the fact that you guys are basically, giving your space for, donating your space for our work says a lot about what's important in the Vortex. And more spaces really should be available, like you guys are doing, throughout LA, because, people like us need space to work, and you guys are providing an unbelievable service to those people.
Yeah, well, Cam and Jeff are happy to do it, and I'm happy to help facilitate it as well. You're the guys who are doing the hands-on work, so the least we can do is
Right.
sort of make it possible.
We appreciate it.
And for others who want to use the space, generally there is a reasonable fee charge. Once in a while, like in the case of your group, they waive the fee. But for people who want to check out all the details, go to the website, which is vortexla.org. That's vortexla.org. And again, Strindberg Laboratory, that's a trickier one to spell, so I want to make sure people get there. STRINDBERG laboratory.com. Michael, thanks very much for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Thanks so much.